because I said out loud, I don't like working at Walmart. Hi, I'm Melanie.
Hi, I'm Molly, and welcome to our channel.
We're dropping in tonight just to visit for a little bit. We have,
Well, you've been sick.
yeah.
Bob was sick, then you were sick.
Yes, I encouraged him to get medication while he was sick, but he did
Yeah.
not. And then I got it, and as soon as I got it, then he went and got medicine.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. So he's all better, but it was kind of tough stuff for a while. And anyway, who wants to talk about health issues? Not I. But so I've been dragging my tail feathers a little bit, but we're coming to you tonight with just a few little things that we can visit about. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Some of you have made comments, and you have watched The Extraordinary Woo. Yes.
For real?
For real, people
I
have
haven't watched
watched
it yet.
People have watched it. I am so happy. And I have just immersed myself into the Korean drama.
You went from Extraordinary Woo
Yes.
to...
I have watched the King's Affection. I have watched Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. I have watched On Blue. I have watched, the latest one I watched was Dear My Friends. And I had to watch, on Dear My Friends, I had to watch about an episode and a half. I almost didn't keep going, and I was so glad I did. But it's almost like the Golden Girls of Korea. It's serious. It's got funny moments, but it's got serious moments in it too. But it is just so interesting to me. The culture is interesting. There's just so many things that are just extremely intriguing to me. And some of the storylines, like in the series that was called On Blue, Bob came home one evening, and I just sat here. It was while I was sick, but had sat there and just cried.
Oh,
Some of the storylines are so intense. It's just has such good storylines about interpersonal relationships and just how we interact. And it's interesting to me because there are some cultural differences in how they handle older people and younger people, and how they communicate at times, but most of it is just so relatable. But I have to sit and I have to, watch the screen. There's a few that has English overdubbed it, but
yeah.
So I have to sit and watch the screen. But if you can do that, then there's been some great feedback about it, and there are people that really have enjoyed it. So I'm so glad. It just opens up kind of a new little world out there, because sometimes you just go through Netflix and Prime and you're just like, oh, what is out here that...
That's true.
You just like same old stuff. And then this month in October, it's all horror stuff.
Yeah, everything's thriller, suspense, but horror. Yeah,
I don't like that. I just don't like that at all.
I don't like any shows that make me cry.
No, I don't cry all that much, but I have to say, yes, it's good to get that compassion. I think you need to.
I probably should, but I hate, if I think, nope, that's going to make me cry, I'm out. I don't want to do it. Also, I want to know, because in our last video, I gave you some little socky socks to put on your feet while you're propped up. And I said you have to sit there for about an hour. So while you're talking about all your TV watching...
Yeah, I should have done that.
You didn't do it?
No, I looked at that today and I thought, oh, I'm saving this for a special...
I told you can't do that.
Sometimes I save things because when I look at them and I know you got it for me, then it makes me happy. And if I use it, then I can't look at it. I don't know why I do that.
It just sounds like something you should go talk to a therapist about.
No, I'm not going to therapy. I'm fine.
Well, put the socks on your feet and watch your Korean shows.
I'll do it. The downside of watching the Korean dramas is I cannot sit there and paint or clean or anything because it has to be totally devoted to reading it. But it's so weird because after a while, I think, in my mind, I think, oh, I'm understanding Korean now. And no, I'm not. I'm not understanding it all. But you just hear it so much, and your brain gets so used to reading it that you just kind of forget that that's what you're doing. So I highly recommend it if you're just looking to try something that's different but very emotional at times and real relatable and interesting. The Korean culture, and see, I don't know, because if you think about American shows, there are some shows like Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody in the world was living like Friends.
No.
That would not be or
a good representation of like middle America or whatever you're talking about. I mean, is that what you mean?
Or if someone watched ER, I don't think that necessarily represented the way things are medically. So I have to remember that as I'm watching this, I don't know how realistic some of it is. But usually, even in sitcoms in America, and we still have our shows that they're relatable.
Yeah.
But some things may be slightly exaggerated. Oh, but one of the things that I love is that they are just eating. So many things are around food, and I love looking at the food. And so much of it is soup.
Really?
Yeah, so much of it is soup, and I've learned all kinds of names of different dishes.
Like what?
Well, as soon as I said that, I thought it seemed like there was one that was called. Now, I've heard them say the kimchi.
Yes.
Yes, and then that gambapa or no. Let's don't. I didn't learn any of it. I heard it. And I was interested for a few minutes, and then I know
Korean. No, I really don't.
No,
I really don't.
I really don't. I don't. But anyway, that's that. Show them what you got today in the mail.
Yeah, well,
that's interesting.
I got on Shein. Have you bought stuff from Shein?
I never bought stuff from Shein.
I got on there and I was like, that Hattie girl, she is growing and growing and growing. I need to get her some fall dresses, like to wear to church. She loves dresses. I need to get her some more sweaters, things like that. So I got on Shein.
Yeah.
Well, then I started just looking around on Shein. By the way, the clothes that I got for her from Shein, there are only two that I feel like I wish I'd gotten a bigger size, but everything else has been really good.
Oh, it fit? What size did you get?
I try to stick with the size 7.
Okay.
And and the ones that I wish I got bigger, well, if she wore like a little spaghetti strap under the sweater, just to give her a little bit more length, because the way it's cut, might make it a little high on her hip or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it should be good.
Have y'all had any luck with Shein? Because I see a lot of YouTube influencers that order from them.
Yeah.
But it's not one of my go-to places. So I'm wondering if the stuff runs true to size, or do you always have to? Did you get something there for you?
That blue shirt that I wore the other day was from Shein, and it was supposed to be oversized.
Yeah.
And I probably could have gone down, but if I'd have gone down a size, it'd been shorter, and it was already shorter than I liked my shirts. It was just good that I could tuck it in and wear it with my paper sack pants. What do you call them? Sack pants?
I don't know. Paper bag?
Bag pants? Bag?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We're not fashion.
So, I've seen this little hair thingy on the TikTok, and I'm like, I really should try that, because I do all kinds of stuff in my hair.
I did a video about, and I used my robe.
You did?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have to link that below. But yeah, now they've come out with official stuff.
This is the Shein one. Ow. This is the Shein one, and I think it probably should be maybe a little bit longer because I have long hair. You want me to show them how to do it? Well, I'm going to keep my hair up. Do you want to show them on your head?
I mean, my hair is down if you want me to.
Oh. Yeah, and then I've seen ones that have snaps at the end that you can kind of make sure your hair stays tucked, but it did come with 2 little scrunchies. Yeah, so you clip that in, and then you start. I have not tried this yet. And then you take a piece and then you wrap it around. And I've seen some wrap it this way, and then they'll take a piece and they'll wrap it the other way. There's all kinds of videos to tell you how to
to do it.
I typically like hair going away from my face.
Yes, that's what I'd recommend. And then after you get both sides done, then you do it with that, and then you sleep in it.
Well, and I don't think you have to tie it in the back. I've seen people just do it on both ends.
Oh, yeah.
But I sleep on my side, so I don't know how it's going to...
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how that works for you. A robe belt is so much more flexible. You might have to kind of mold that into what you think that it needs to be.
I think it might have been $1.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they invested a
it was
whole lot
Shein,
into
y'all.
it.
I mean, the clothes, I really am happy with the clothes that I got. But
do you know these things at Walmart, these clips, I paid, I think $3.54 for a, is it Scunci or something clip for my hair the other day.
I thought it was Scunci, like CC as in,
I don't.
like an Italian
Yeah, maybe so. So, yeah, so that, just getting the clip was good. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
This is what came in at my house this week, because in Northeast Texas, we just had some cold weather this week. I know you love this time of year when it starts getting cold. So that's when I begin to think about hot drinks. And so I got this Celestial fruit tea sampler.
Caffeine free.
Caffeine free. Oh, maybe I need the caffeine. I
I
don't
feel
know.
like every time you bring something, I read something and you're surprised. Like the fig.
Oh,
What was it you were eating by the spoonful? And I was like, it doesn't say that it's sugar free. It just says no sugar.
Oh, that date syrup.
Date syrup.
Yes,
and now
I've got those in my, and every time I eat them, I think of you. But this has raspberry zinger, country peach passion, wild berry zinger, true blueberry. Now I've tried true blueberry. If y'all try teas, I want tea that tastes so full and vibrant. They've got black cherry berry. You know what? What I probably want is some heated up Kool-Aid. I want it to taste fruity. I want it to taste real fruity. So I don't
sugar.
I try not to.
I do too. I try not to.
Oh, I try
put sugar
not
in my
to.
tea.
I may put a little of that date syrup
There
in
you
there.
go.
But this I got the other day at. You don't like this stuff?
I just don't like anything cider, apple cider, chives kind of stuff. I don't like any of that.
This is called Aspen Mulling Cider Spices. And you can do it different ways. So you can put it in cider, you can put it in wine, you can put it in just regular tea, or you can put it in brandy.
Which one are you doing?
I'm doing what the lady at the checkout, her and I got to visiting, and she said, get sugar, no, she didn't say sugar free. I thought of this on my own. She said, get cran apple. Get a gallon of cran apple and put that in to the cran apple. And I thought, you know, I might get the sugar-free cran apple or whatever I can find and put that in it. But that is just so, it's so cozy and it smells good. I think you could put it in your crock pot even and just leave it simmering, you know? So I like that kind of stuff. You just don't?
Well, the first ingredient is sugar.
No.
And then it's dextrose. Hey, hold on. And then it says produced with genetic engineering.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I say enjoy.
How can you genetically engineer some
That's who produced it.
delicious?
It's delicious because the first ingredient is sugar.
That's, just 2 teaspoons is 40 calories. I could probably drink it the whole gallon.
And then
in a couple of days.
And then they've got caramel color in there.
Okay, and then she also said she puts this on top of her banana bread or something. It gives it a nice crunchy flavor. Look, you can sprinkle over fruit, ice cream, oatmeal, pancakes, yogurt, and pudding. Use our spices in barbecue sauces and slightly sweet marinades. Or folded into cream cheese for a sweet spread. Anyway, it was $4. It was $4 and it was at the hoity-toity drugstore. So I felt hoity-toity buying it. Now it's
Produced by genetic
engineering. I just can't imagine what that even means. But I think I'm going to enjoy this box anyway.
You go for it. This is what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I want you to make it however you want to make it, and then I want you to sit, watch your Korean show while you sip on it, whatever you're doing, with your foot socks on.
That's a good plan.
There you go.
I think that's a really good
And
plan.
don't think about the dextrose or the sugar or the engineering.
Everything is full of something.
That's the truth.
You know?
I just want to be full of Jesus. We're working on it.
Now you're being sacrilegious.
Is that what that is?
If you were sincere about it, and you meant it, it's okay. But if you're just being snarky or goofball,
why can't I be both? The Lord understands that I'm both.
That you shouldn't.
He knows I'm being truthful.
Okay,
I'm being honest.
That's between you and him. I'm not getting involved.
See what happens? I just point out a little bit of sugar and engineering and.
Yeah. Okay, what else? What is that that you want to show us? Oh, that.
This goes with the Shein thing, okay?
Okay.
I got this little necklace here, which I really like because it's simple and it's up close. And then I like these earrings because they're different. Because, you know,
they're like pyramids.
They're like pyramids in your ear. But then I looked at these ones and I thought, oh, those look cool. But I didn't know that they were going to be like 15 inches long.
Oh, they are kind of long.
They're so long. I feel like I need to get my little little wire cutters out and.
Well, would you?
If I lean, look, I'm just gonna stab myself.
You could stab yourself.
And I'm on the phone and I'm working all the time. Yeah. I was like, this isn't gonna work unless I chop it off.
I think you're gonna have to get some wire cutters.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that.
Anyway, so I got those, but these are the other kinds.
They're like they could be dangerous.
They could be dangerous. I don't know if you can really see that.
When you least expect it.
But what she was talking about, I'm sorry, my nose ring is popping out. Okay, what she's talking about is I went and bought this candy because someone that we support, I have to be very careful when I turn and look. Oh, goodness. Someone that our class has like a teacher or whatever. Anyway, I've got a teacher, staff member at Hattie School. She likes these candies. How do you say this?
It looks like raisin.
Raisin?
Or raisin?
Raisin, I don't know. You guys tell me. So, she likes this candy. When I look at that candy, I just think of the elderly. That the elderly would like that candy.
Why? What makes it elderly?
Well, as a kid, it was just elderly candy. It was something that grandmother would happen to have or something. You know, just a random candy that is not Snickers or Butterfingers or...
Is it like a hard candy?
Well, here, have one.
Well, I don't want to be drooling here on the video.
It'll be fine. So, I got these, and then one night, I was like, I just need something sweet. So, I bust into it, thinking I'll just put these in a different container for the teacher. She won't know I ate one. And then I ended up eating them, and I never took them, and then I ended up eating the whole bag.
Those are good.
They are. They are so good. They're not super sweet, but they've got this chocolate. I don't know if it's dark chocolate, but there's this just not too sweet chocolate with this little caramel chew in it. And it is so, and you feel like you're getting like a good piece of candy.
Yeah, it is good.
I bet the first ingredients is glucose syrup, you know? So you and I both buy things with sugar.
Are they 120 calories? No, you can eat 3 pieces for 120 calories.
Yeah, and I just ended up liking them, and I thought, is this an old candy, and am I getting old?
It says for double chocolate, because there's 2 kinds of chocolate in there.
I thought it was caramel and chocolate.
I don't know, it says double chocolate.
Chewy chocolate caramel. So it's chocolate caramel.
Okay.
It is. It's so good, y'all.
Which reminds me, now that we're living in town, if I have to buy candy for people that come to the door, I've never done that in all my life.
Trick or treat.
Because we've always been where nobody comes.
Yeah, no one would come to you guys.
So
man, that candy is good.
Yeah, it really is.
It's poking me with all get out. I'm just being poked by these things.
I also love a good coffee nip. And that's something I don't really enjoy drinking coffee, but
What's a coffee nip?
It's hard candy and you suck on it.
Oh, so there's no chew? I think that's why I like this, is because it's chewy instead of just hard candy.
Yeah.
Someone the other day when I was picking up my medication at Lewis Morgan, they reached over and grabbed some butterscotch, the little hard candies. And I thought, that sounds really good. And that's another candy that I would associate with the elderly.
Oh, yeah?
And then I don't know. I mean, maybe that's not a thing, but...
Well, I kind of associated that, like, my grandparents would keep it, but I always thought they were keeping it for us.
For the children?
So that's why I always enjoyed it. Do y'all remember when Brock's would have this stand thing in the grocery store, and you would get a scoop and you would fill up this little white bag with Brock's candy? Do you remember that?
I don't think so.
Oh, and my grandparents would get the scoop, and they had like maybe 8 kinds of candy, and it was butterscotch and peppermints, and there was something that was kind of white, and it had jelly looking little circles on it, and then they had chocolate with raspberry centers and chocolate with orange centers, and so you could get a mixture, and then I think it was weighed at the checkout.
Kind of like an ice cream.
They weighed it there, and I mean that was pretty exciting. Speaking of scales, the other day I am a terrible Walmart checker. I'm just awful at it. I always want to go to the self. Well, you don't have any choice anymore, but I want to go and be successful at my checking out. And so in my mind, I just kind of get myself hyped up and think I'm a professional Walmart checker-outer. We've all got to be these days. And every single time, if I don't have to turn on the light 2 or 3 times.
I can imagine your faces that you would make.
Well, last time I felt like I wasn't nice. Because I said out loud, I don't like working at Walmart because it never works out. On my can of chicken and dumplings, when I get there, part of the label has been torn off.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Oh no, you're gonna have to go get you another can." So not only am I the checker, but I'm also having the bag, what do they call them? The runner, the sacker and go-getter.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I don't have it in me. And people are behind you. They're not happy that you're going to have to go do that. So that was one issue. Then the next issue is I bought 2 apples, and it said, place them on the scales. Well, I pictured scales as something with a chain and a container.
Yeah, like over in the produce section where you can see how many.
Scale. And so I looked high, I looked low, I looked everywhere. There was nothing that resembled a scale. So again, I had to turn on the light, and here she comes over, and I said, could you tell me where the scale is located? Well, that is the scale. Mm-hmm. The thing that you do, the beeping thing on the bar thing, is the scale thing.
It's also the scale thing.
Oh, so
go to Albertsons.
I bagged up all my groceries, and then I get halfway out the door, and I think, did I get the last bag off of the deal? No, I didn't. It was all sitting there. So I raced back and got it. And then thankfully, it was not a day where they want to see your receipt.
Yeah, because now they want to see, what did you do?
Yes, and then
did you do everything like you're supposed to do?
And then they can't fire us. They can't fire us for that. But you do get a little nervous, like, did I listen for each beep?
Yeah.
Because what if you walked out and they're like, you didn't pay for the Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that on purpose.
I know.
But you would get in trouble, and I'm wondering if they arrest people. Do y'all know if they arrest people if they mess up at the Walmart checkout?
Insert clip of Mom being arrested.
Oh, that would just be awful.
I know. I think, if you're trying to weigh your apples, you finally got that done, and then get flustered and you're trying to do all the things
and
you just
are
got
behind
done.
you looking at you.
And and you feel that pressure. I would think it'd be very easy to make mistakes when you're not the Walmart worker.
I noticed that other people had their conveyor belts moving. And so for a while I looked for the button because I'm like, there are people that are just whipping it out. I cannot find the button to make the conveyor belt go.
Goodness.
So I did not have a good system. So I was running from the back of the belt to up to the front.
She does not need to go to Aldi.
I went to Aldi. I think I talked about it on here. The whole quarter thing.
I think you did.
Yeah, the whole quarter thing. I haven't been back.
Yeah.
But they did have, the farming pastor's wife always talks about their brownie mix is the very best of any kind of brownie mix. And so I want to go back for that because it was delicious. But
okay, so you were at Walmart. I interrupted.
That's the end. It was stressful. It just was a little more stressful because each time I think, okay, this time I'm going to go through without having to turn on the flashing lights because it's just like wah wah wah, and people look, and the people that are waiting are just like, oh, she doesn't know. And so I did tell the lady at one time, I said, I have not been trained on produce. And she came over and she said, well, and she had a card, and you have to identify the fruit or the vegetable on this flashcard thing, and then
tiny print.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then you have to find your glasses and then read and see what kind of apple that you have, or either you have to punch in the code number for that particular apple. Anyway, I just don't.
You need to go to Albertsons.
Yeah, I just probably need to go somewhere else. But I like Walmart.
Well, they do have good prices, but
they do, and they have a clothes department.
Yeah.
And
you need to do online. Do the online pickup.
Bob doesn't like it. He doesn't like it
because I don't ever buy produce though at Walmart with Walmart pickup. Go to Super One.
Yeah,
they're the best.
Well, Brookshire's used to be my go-to.
Well, what happened to that?
Well, we moved to Longview.
There's a Brookshire's right on McCann.
Yeah, I guess I could.
No, that's Kroger's.
I bet Albertsons. I've enjoyed Albertsons.
I grew up going with Daddy to Albertsons, even though it was the most expensive store. That's where he'd go shopping.
Well, it was the closest.
It was the closest.
But we have Kroger. Now, see, some of y'all live in big towns, and y'all will have Costco. I've heard people talk
like
about
a Sam's Club
or Joe Trader or Trader
Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
H-E-B. I'd love to have an H-E-B where we're at. We do not.
Yeah. So it's just. I need to be more fully trained by the Walmart staff to be successful. And each time I think this will be the time that I just get up there and I'm just like, beep.
Would you like for me to call and see when their next orientation or new employee training day is?
And then, you got to insert the chip, and then some of them you swipe. And, it's just, it's a lot of details. It's a lot of details for me. And I don't want to make myself sound dumb because, that's silly to just be dumb on things. So I always have to say I'm gifted in other areas.
It's true.
I don't think I would have made, I know I wouldn't have made a good checker. And there's nobody to visit with. You're there alone. Part of the whole shopping experience was to visit with your checker.
Really?
Yeah, and say, how you doing? How are your kids?
I do try to do that, but that's not why I would say I like the shopping experience.
Well, that was part of the experience. And then you have the guy or the girl sacking, and you kind of get to know them over time. Have you graduated high school yet? Where are you going to college? There's none of that. It's just me and the machine.
Albertsons will still, and Brookshire's, they will still take your groceries to the car vehicle for you.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
And will unload your cart for you.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy that immensely.
And you know who else enjoys it?
Who?
High school kids who are just needing a job after school.
What are we going to do? Because we've cut so many of those jobs out. Like, I don't think there were any... I don't know if there were any registers at all that were manned by human beings. At all. Maybe there was further down the line, but all I could see was a sea of self-checkouts.
Yeah, and then those high school kids, they're not going to know how to talk to people Because
I'm not there saying you made it through school yet.
Yeah.
Where are you going to college? Yeah. You need some.
This took a turn.
And you need relationships where God created us to have relationships with one another. And in a lot of ways, it gets harder and harder and harder to connect to people.
And that's why I do pickup. I'm just kidding.
So you can have the least amount of interaction.
No, I think it's just because life gets busy right now. It's convenient. But I do go to Super One for
That's so convenient. And
it is.
I think if I had young children, because I mean, that would have opened up a new world for me. Because I can remember having your oldest two brothers, and they were 15 months apart. And I can remember taking them the first time to the grocery store. Maybe it was when you were born.
Who knows?
And I put one in the seat, and then I put one. I put you. You had would have been in your that little
cart. Yeah, the
seat thing. Yeah, and then I put Hunter. Kind of over beside you, and then I just stood there and thought, where am I going to put the groceries? So. Anyway, so some things are wonderful, and gas stations to not have to, because I would get all of y'all out to go into the gas station and pay.
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to leave your kids in the car. But now that was life changing.
Yeah, we just should have stopped.
When you could pay at the pump.
We should have made a little bit of improvement to help. But then when you walk into the store, if you need to go in the store, we should have still had people in there.
Well,
there should have been a balance.
We're built to have relationships, and I do feel bad for people who can go a whole week and not ever communicate or see anybody. And for a lot of people, it was at the grocery store that you would
have some kind of interaction.
Just have some kind of interaction. So
I am going to pause and say, if you have made it this far into the video, would you leave us a little emoji or something? A little thumbs up or something? Because I am curious if we got into this Walmart discussion and people are like, okay, I just came from Walmart. I can't handle this conversation right now.
Well, and also I would like to know, some of y'all probably love the pickup. That's probably very convenient.
It is, but it's not always perfect.
Yeah, and then some of you may not. I just don't want us to turn into people where everybody's in their little hovel and nobody ever interacts with anybody in the world.
Because even if I'm not always in the mood to interact, and sometimes I struggle with, do I really have to have community? Ultimately,
community is the word for it.
Community is the word for it.
Have community.
Ultimately, I know that I need to.
It is.
So, I mean, because I could go quite a long time without...
Well, and it's like physical touch. We were talking about that Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that I am realizing the older I get, the more I enjoy somebody coming up and hugging me.
Like a good hug.
Yes, and you just think, okay, somebody sees me and knows that I'm here. And I think that as I have read and studied about some things, the older that you get, it seems like the less of that you get from people. Because you just become more isolated in some ways. Oh, this is deep stuff. Deep stuff. But it's good stuff. Now, we'd love to hear your opinion on it. See, that's good.
It's really good.
But you and I both know from having adopted children, physical touch, when those babies are in an orphanage, it makes all the difference in the world if someone picked them up and loved on them. And when people are elderly and they're in nursing facilities and all, it makes all the difference in the world if they get touched and get cared about.
It made me think when you're talking Sunday about how grandmother, when we would leave and she sits in her chair, she'd always hold her hand out.
Yeah, and so you'd
squeeze it and she'd squeeze it back.
Because
and I thought that was part of her.
That was part of her routine.
And you gotta squeeze the hand.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end this. And we hope that you've got people in your life that you can visit with or have community.
Have community
Just
and fellowship.
Yes, visit with them.
Hang out.
And get a good hug in there every now and then. It's healthy and it's good for you. And if you're not getting any hugs, well then go out and give some, but in an appropriate way.
There we go.
Don't any of you be getting arrested and saying Melanie said to do this, and I got arrested at the Walmart for yeah. So anyway, y'all have a good week, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Bye. I put like 6 Tic Tacs in my mouth.
What do you got that hiney thing?
Hiney?
Yeah.
Where's a hiney thing?
That hiney thing.
It's for my hiney to sit on.
Can you test?
Test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do. Ba ba da bow. Wop ba ba bow. Da ba do bow.